Hi, I'm Marinelle Anthony, and I'm principal of Greenville Technical Charter High School. GTCHS was born of the vision of Dr. Thomas E. Barton, who was president of Greenville Technical College in upstate South Carolina. When they passed the charter law in South Carolina in 1997, he had this idea that high schoolers could come onto the college campus and then walk from the building 119 up the hill and take college classes. And so the first charter high school in South Carolina was born. He brought in a principal, Fred Crawford, who partnered with the Middle College National Consortium to build the concepts upon which our school is based, because they had to figure out, how do we get high schoolers ready for college classes? And so there's a few core things that are tenets of our school. The first is smaller class sizes. We limit all class sizes to 25 so that teachers can give personalized attention to the students. The second is that we do an inquiry-based approach to learning. And because the inquiry-based approach teaches those critical thinking skills they need, and it moves them beyond just sit and get and rote rotation that they're going to be doing when they get to college. The third thing they do is a looping advisory program, because they need that trusted adult that will really get to know them. So you partner with that person and 16 other children, and you stay with that group for all 4 years when you're at GTCHS. And lastly, it's about mastery learning. In order to get your credit, you must have a 75. And so we reteach, reassess, and redo so that we can make sure the students really get it. Because obviously you cannot do Algebra 2 if you didn't get Algebra 1. And so those are the tenets, and that led to our school's success. So under his leadership, we became one of the top schools in South Carolina. We got the top award of Palmetto's Finest, and we went on to be the first charter school in the nation to get the National Blue Ribbon Award. Then he was lured away to bigger and I won't say better, because I'm not sure there's anything better than being at GTCHS, but to bigger things. And so as a result of that, they had a succession of leaders. So when I arrived in 2016, I was the fourth principal that the high school seniors had had. And the board had started asking questions. Are we still innovative? Is this really what we should be about? Do we need to go back to the drawing board and tear down what we built and come up with a new concept? Marinelle, we want you to research that and figure that out now that you're here. And so I did. I spent a month or so researching, scouring the internet, looking at all the things. And 7 years ago, the top 20 most innovative schools in the United States, 50% of those were middle college programs. And so I went back to the board and I said, you know what? I think we're doing it right. I think the problem is y'all are taking it for granted. This place is amazing. And I think you're just so accustomed to the excellence that you've gotten kind of used to it. So what we really need to do is go back to that charter. So we doubled down on the original mission and vision of the school. We were up for charter renewal. We started digging back in. We started making sure that it actually reflected the practices that had evolved over the years. And we made sure that we were doing it right. And as part of that, I asked our teachers and our board to do a 30-second elevator speech about who we are at GTCHS. And y'all, it was a hot mess. I mean, we're a middle college program. That should be simple, right? But no, we're a mastery learning school. Oh, we're a fine arts school because we do have an amazing fine arts program. No, wait, we're an advisory. Oh, no, we do this. And so I was like, okay, let's just start with what we're really about. And what we're really about is our basic vision, which is educating tomorrow's leaders today. That's our vision statement. Let's go back to that and what type of student and person we are creating and sending out into the world from our high school. And so from there, we looked at that. And the first part of that for us is community service. Our students do 50 hours of community service every year in the Greenville community. So as a school, we believe that to whom much is given, much is required. Spider-Man's uncle was really, really wise. So we have, as Gene Shue says, service in the DNA of our student body. They show up wanting to know, how can they lead? How can they serve? What can they do? And once a year on Serve Day, every year, we deploy our entire student body into the Greenville community to over 15 agencies to serve for a day. And you might think, that's one day. But what that does is it sparks in them something bigger than that. It leads to people like Elliot, who got exposed to the Children's Museum and has committed to over 600 hours of community service there. You have another child that discovered Annie's house in Sustaining Way and goes out to do urban gardening in the middle of low-income housing every week faithfully because they've got involved, they've gotten their hands dirty under the umbrella of us, and then they go out and they do it. The other thing that we circled back to was the senior project. That was kind of a cornerstone of who we were when we started. And so that is a project where students choose a topic they're interested in, usually aligned with their career interest, and then they make, do, or create something and present it to the community when they get done with their learning journey. And so we went back to that because it had kind of morphed and went different directions over the years. And so now the last 3 years, we've had about 40% of our students choose to do a senior project internship. So you have students like Jamel Lopez, who went over the summer to take a CAD class at the college and then went to KTM Engineering, where he didn't just do the 60 required hours, he did 100 hours, and he was doing projects for clients in the real world. You have students like Olivia, who's in my advisory, who wants to be a fashion designer and designed a fashion line and made the clothes, dyed the fabric, sewed them, and did a photo shoot with her models. And you think, man, those are really great students. But y'all, that's normal at my school, which is what's so impressive. Then, a few years into it, I had a teacher come to me and say, Mary, now, I'd like to start an aviation program. It's like, okay, tell me more. And he said, I want to teach science through the lens of aviation. And I really carefully considered it because the thing about a charter school is you really have to hold true to your charter, right? So I had to think, is this adding one more thing? And I realized it wasn't because an aviation program aligned with the original mission vision of Dr. Barton of fulfilling a need in the community for the workforce. We have a pilot shortage. For those of you who flew into this conference, you may have noticed that. There's some flight delays that occur. And so through the aviation program, we partner with AOPA, and they provide a curriculum with 3 pathways: aircraft maintenance, aerospace engineering, both of which can be done through Greenville Technical College, or the pilot pathway. And we partner with the Greenville Downtown Airport and with Triple Tree Aeronautics to fulfill that program. And so now we have people graduating with their pilot license. I had someone that for their senior project, they received the certification to fly through the fog without using any sight and to just use the little radar things that are in the plane. It was outstanding. And so I can tell you in closing that I believe that we're really fulfilling the mission vision. And I can do that by giving you our stats, right? We're a top 10 ACT, SAT scores in the state of South Carolina. We're top 10 in EOC scores and on the state accountability. We have a 99% graduation rate over a 5-year period. And the year we came out of the pandemic, we had a 100% graduation rate, y'all. We are bringing it with that. But that's not what tells me that. What tells me that are students. It's students like Dara, who immigrated from the Mexican border, brought over across the river with her uncle, who's met Ms. Dix and is now inspired to become a multilingual teacher, who came and said, Ms. Anthony, can you help me get an internship next year in that area? And I can say yes to that. It's students like Anne Marie, who came to me and said, Ms. Anthony, I've been working with this help center that helps unwed mothers in the community, and they're really short on paper products and diapers. Could I partner with our Students in Action team and do a drive for that? And I could say yes to that. It's students who come to me en masse this year and say, Ms. Anthony, we have 41% diversity. And I've realized we don't know about each other's cultures. I don't really understand this fasting thing that my friends are doing with Ramadan. And what the heck is a quinceanera? Can we do some town halls where we let the students and parents lead, and then they could even cook us some of their food, and we could eat the food of the different cultures? And I can say yes to that. And so that's why I think that we're fulfilling the original mission vision that Dr. Barton saw 25 years ago. And if you're in upstate South Carolina, I'd like to invite you to come in and see us. We have this really cheesy saying. And I have 2 people here in the audience who are from my school, so they're going to say it with me because we say it every day. Attitude is everything because that's the warrior way. And we say it every day, and it's really cheesy and corny. But what I know is that our students believe it. They believe that with the right attitude and hard work and consistency, they can be the world changers that they want to be, and they believe in themselves and have hope for the future. So come visit me and you'll see hope too. Thank you.